What's going on, everybody? I'm back. It's been a while, but I figured I'd make a YouTube video. I think it's been like 3-4 months maybe at this point. Last time you guys saw me, unfortunately, I had a B9 S4. I wouldn't say unfortunately, unless there was problems. So let's get into it. I do apologize if I do this a few times, as there are plenty of bugs flying around, probably mosquitoes and whatnot, because I like this location right here. Nobody comes around. It's pretty quiet. Nice place to film. But anyways, so what happened to the B9? So last time you saw me, I had a 2018 S4 B9 Daytona Gray, completely stock motor-wise and whatnot. But essentially, what ended up happening was for about 9,000 miles of my ownership, it was making a knocking, tapping sound. Couldn't figure out what it was. I thought it was axles until one day I decided to put it into drive with my foot on the brake and the e-brake or parking brake, electronic brake on. And when I did that, unfortunately, the noise happened even then when I wasn't rolling. So what ended up happening? So I brought it to a repair shop local to me, which I try not to do, but obviously sometimes you just have no choice between work and whatnot. Brought it there. Paid about $200 for diagnosis, and sadly, the news that they gave me was that they weren't sure. They weren't exactly sure if the noise was internal to the motor or whatnot, but unfortunately that was the news that they had to give me. So what did I do next? Well, for the next week, probably 10 days, I pondered, what do I do? Do I try and fix the car? Do I keep it? It had about 83,000 miles, although it was a cool car, a fast car, whatever you want to call it, all the above, luxurious, everything. I kind of had to make a decision. It wasn't exactly financially smart for me to keep the vehicle, seeing as how going forward, unfortunately, I could potentially run into more issues, given that that car was getting into higher miles. So I decided to make the decision to go ahead and look around and maybe trade my car in. I gotta say, I've had this car since, I would say probably about a month and a half now, maybe a month and a quarter, but either way, I've had this car for a little bit of time, and I've had to put my own touches on it. I couldn't leave it alone, and with that being said, let's get into those. So first thing I had to do here, as you could see, I put some rotors on it. I had no choice. Unfortunately, the dealership that I got it from, they gave me the car with warped rotors, and God knows what they would have put on the car if I said anything. But either way, I just got the rotors through my job, and I left it alone. They actually gave me new pads in the front and rear, which is pretty nice. So I'm happy with new pads. They also gave me mismatched tires when I got the car. It had 3 different tires on an X-Drive. This is an X-Drive, by the way. There is no X-Drive badge. I guess that's an option from the factory. But yeah, I put new rotors on the front. So, of course, I had to tint the car. I know some cars look really good with no tint, and maybe if this car was lowered on some KWs and some Apexes, it could look like a really nice, daily driver. But I do like my privacy, especially as it is a daily. So I did have to put 20% tint all the way around. It's really not that dark. Obviously, where I'm standing right now, you cannot see in the car at all. But that's just because of the lighting around here. It's very, very gloomy in this little area, covered by trees, but yeah, it really doesn't look that dark, I promise. Of course, the other thing I had to do was the black kidney grills. Not gonna lie, I don't love them and I don't hate them. I am a sucker for chrome grills, but I will say right now in the car's form as it sits with the black wheels and whatnot, I really think it needed a black grill. But these black wheels have to go. I think it just doesn't look good. This color is called Sunset Orange, and I really think the black wheels just take away from the color. I think a nice hyper silver would make this color pop. So right now it kind of looks like a burnt orange, but in daylight it looks super, super bright, and it's just a beautiful color. All right, and other than that, the last thing I did to this car, or the most recent thing I should say, is H&R lowering springs. So this car is an X-Drive vehicle, and if anybody knows anything about BMWs, the X-Drive cars are always higher up than the rear-wheel drive variants. So And excuse my shaking if I'm shaking at all. I am starving, but that's another issue to deal with. Either way, this car is on H&Rs, so it's absolutely sitting great right now. I think at some point I will go coilovers, but this does have EDC, so I don't really want to get rid of EDC if I can hold on to it for as long as possible. But again, that's something for the future. I've only had this car for about a month, so I don't think I need to be doing anything. So we can take a look inside here. Obviously, just black leather. I will say the 2018's got a new gauge cluster, and that is a touchscreen, not that I use it. But I'm really glad I got aluminum trim. I'm not gonna lie. I think I would have really liked this car to have oyster interior, but I doubt that would have happened. This car is a Canadian car, but it is entirely fully loaded, I believe, from what I understand. I don't know if these cars come with heads-up display as any options, but either way, really nice spec. It's got some marks, as you can see right there. It's got a little mark, but either way though, I really love this car. I think it's great. Right now, I have a few things coming in. I have an intake, Burger Motorsports intake. Actually, someone online on Facebook, shout out to you, Will, if you're watching this. I doubt you are, but if you are, I appreciate it. He sent that over to me for free, so that should be arriving tomorrow. He was just getting rid of his 330. Congrats to him. He got an F82 M4, so congrats to him. But he sent me a Burger Motorsports intake for free. I really appreciate him. And I do have an M Performance front lip coming as well. But as far as other plans, I would like to go dual exit. I don't know if I'm going to go with an M240 muffler or not. But I think the way this car sits, it looks really good. But as anyone knows, they have to add their own touches. So I will be doing that. In what fashion, I'm not entirely too sure yet, but this car is just, it's a beauty. It's not quick, definitely not quick, don't get me wrong, but I don't want it to seem quick. I don't want to act like it's an M240 or anything like that, but I think this car can look great regardless. So just reiterating one thing that I wanted to say in regards to the video that I made, the first video that I made regarding should you buy a high mileage B9 S4. If you want me to be totally honest, no, I don't think you should. Am I saying that because I've had my own bad experience? In part, yes, but also in part, no. The car gave me problems, but it didn't give me problems. It made noises, weird noises, but nothing ever happened. I never lost power, no check engine lights other than the purge valve, no real issues. It didn't let me down, right? But what I can say is after I traded in that S4, there was a lot of forum posts and a lot of Facebook group posts where people's cars were blowing up, spark plug, tips falling off inside the engine, scoring the cylinder walls, all that type of weird stuff. And I just don't know if those early model years are a really good buy. I really don't think so. And I've seen it start to happen on 2019 models as well, S4s and S5s, SQ5s. So to be honest, if I were to buy one, I would stick to the B9.5 going forward. Although I like to switch it up, so I have no ill feelings towards Audi at all. I love Audis. I would love to have an S7, RS7 one day, but I do also love BMW. So of course I had to go back to them and give them a shot, but I would just be weary. Definitely be weary of what you're buying. I would say I made a bad decision, but I'm not naive, so I can definitely attest to that I've made some dumb decisions, and buying that car with the mileage probably was one of them. But yeah, I took a little bit of a loss financially getting this car, and yes, to some it's a downgrade as far as motor wise, but this car only has 30,000 miles on it, and of course the more that I pay right now is because I got an extra warranty, just because I don't want to deal with that stuff again. But either way, I loved the car. The S4 was great, but just be wary of what you're buying, and if possible, do everything you can to not buy a vehicle without a warranty. So I guess it's only right at this point. What's left? Well, just want to let you guys know there's going to be a ton of videos coming out with this car. I plan on doing a lot of modifications. Obviously, up here in the Northeast in Connecticut, it's warm out. So when I made the other videos, it was not so warm, but it's warm. So at least for the next few months, I can consistently make some good videos, put some parts on, and hopefully vlog a little bit. But either way, I think it's only right. Let's get some beauty shots. I appreciate you guys for watching. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next one.